Poshteacher, and I am so excited to introduce our guest. This is Carla, and she is from Vegiteacher platform and Instagram, and we can't wait to hear about her amazing traveling and how it ties in with education. So welcome to our program, Carla.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, what we ask here at Poshteacher, the first thing we ask is, what was your aha moment when you decided to become a teacher?
Yeah, I think I've always wanted to be a teacher. My first day of school was kindergarten. I never went to preschool or anything before that. And so my first day of kindergarten, I fell in love with school. It was such a happy, safe, fun place. And I just loved, especially elementary school. I loved my elementary school years and my elementary school teachers. And that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be a teacher.
That is, and what was something memorable during your elementary school years that was like caught your eye or it really made you love? Was there any specific teacher or events that they did?
Yeah, it was my kindergarten teacher. I still remember her, and she was just so kind, so nice, and I have a very funny memory about this kindergarten teacher.
Oh,
This was like in the 80s, and we both had these pink Reebok high top shoes. We both wore them on the same day, I remember, and that has stuck with me. We both had the same shoes, pink shoes.
wow. You know what? I love hearing that because obviously, I mean, a Poshteacher, like I always think
Right.
what you wear and all that really makes an impact and somehow. And I mean, this was a connection, like your shoes
Yeah.
created a connection with someone. That is,
Yeah. And it was my first teacher ever. And yeah, I just knew I wanted to be in school for my whole life.
wow. So it's, yeah, that drive started young then.
Yeah, really. And it continued until I grew up. And then when I grew up, I liked being around kids. I liked helping kids. I became a summer camp counselor. That's how I got into it. And then during the summers I did that, and then during the college years I would do like substitute teaching, and then became an assistant teacher while I was studying to become a teacher.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so then after you finished your education as a teacher, well, where did you go into? What was your first job?
So my first job was in the States, kindergarten. I started with
Oh,
kindergarten. I've always liked the little kids, like the younger years of elementary school. And so yeah, I taught in the States for about 6 years, and I loved teaching, and I also loved traveling. And so I did some research on international teaching, and I found that you could teach English abroad. And so there was international schools. So I started researching that, and I started applying. And then my first overseas job was Bolivia. And yeah, I taught there at an international school for 2 years. And after Bolivia, I loved it. I thought, I think I'll try this out for 2 years,
mhm.
see how I like this international teaching. If I don't like it, I'll come back. I ended up loving it and living internationally, living abroad. So I decided to try another country.
Oh,
I went to Mexico then,
oh my
and I
God.
stayed there for 3 years teaching English at an international school. And then, so that was South America, North America. And then I wanted to go to Africa. And so, yeah, so applied for a job in Africa, and I went to Tanzania, taught there for 2 years, and then Mozambique, and taught there for 1 year. And now I'm about to go to Thailand to
Oh my
teach.
goodness. So are you right now in Mozambique? Is this or no?
No. Right now, yeah, I'm in a transition phase. I had to leave Mozambique, and so now I'm in Bolivia, actually, South America,
Oh,
and then waiting until the new job to go to Thailand.
oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
so exciting. Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
so are these when the jobs that you have today, so you can choose like, after so many years, I want to try something somewhere else? It's the
Yeah,
program?
usually international schools, the contracts are usually 2 years.
Oh,
And
nice.
so then after 2 years, you can choose to stay if you want, or you can choose to go to a new country.
And your
Yeah.
accommodations as a teacher, do they set you up with housing or how
Yeah.
does the program work?
Yeah, there are some really positive benefits. So it depends on the school. Every school is a little bit different, but the majority, like the norm, is the school sets you up with the housing, and they set you up with medical care, and they pay for your flight to come to the school, and they pay like year round, they pay for a flight to go back to your home country. So those are really good benefits. Some schools also add, even they'll pay for like utilities, they'll pay for they'll add other perks to like bring you to their country and to their school. And it's really good. It's really good benefits, I found. Yeah, it's really nice not having to pay for, rent or mortgage every month.
It's
you know,
fabulous. And you're doing what
yeah,
you love. Well, let's backtrack in the
yeah.
sense that because I'm so interested to hear with all these different countries that you've been to, how they perceive education. What is a little bit of, your take, well, obviously we know what it's like in the US. What are other countries like? People I'm sure are curious, how their education system is or how teachers are looked at in
Mhm.
other countries. So give us some light on the international dish
Yeah,
information. Tell us.
yeah. I think the most impactful thing I found is, yeah, how teachers are viewed actually.
Mhm.
They're very respected in a lot of parts of the world, and they're very, parents and families are very gracious to have you as their teacher, especially like as a native English speaker. That's, in other parts of the world, it's regarded like it's a high standing, like native speaker teachers, and they're grateful for, for you to be their child's teacher. That's the most impactful thing, just how gracious they are and how really teachers are looked highly upon in other parts of the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
And and tell me one or two things that were very impactful for you in your classroom in these countries you have been, something memorable that you had.
Oh yeah. I just love like making connections with the students and getting to know new students every year. That's really great. And you get to know their students, and you get to know also their families a little bit. And um, that's, yeah, the relationships you build with students, I think that's been the most impactful. And still, I keep in touch with
Wow.
some kids, and still I keep in touch with some parents. Like it's really made me reflect on how, like, what an impact a teacher can have on a student's life. Like after they leave my classroom, we're still in touch.
Oh my
It's
God.
it's it's special. It's, yeah.
And did you have to learn the other languages from the countries you were in? Like in Mexico, did you have to learn a little bit of Spanish or were you able to survive on just English? Like what were your
Yeah.
experiences with language, with living there?
Well, at the schools, international schools, I was hired to teach English. So, I speak English, and the other teachers speak English.
Okay.
Not all, right? Not all teachers, of course. But since you're living, yeah, in a new country,
Yes.
the day-to-day things, right? Like going to the grocery store, going to the bank, you do need to know
Oh my
some of the
God.
language. And for that, I'm lucky I knew Spanish already. So in the Spanish speaking countries, I could get by. But
Good.
then when I went to Africa, the language
Yeah.
was Swahili.
Oh my gosh.
And, yeah, and
Tell us.
Tanzania. And then Mozambique, it was Portuguese. So
Oh.
in Tanzania, Swahili, I'd never, never knew anything about Swahili. So I took classes. You find a tutor. There's tutors around. And I started taking classes like once a week, Swahili, knowing words and phrases to get by. Because you need to know some of the language to get by, right? All those
Yes,
everyday things, groceries, bank,
definitely.
electricity, internet, right?
Yes.
Buying, going to the market, buying fruits and vegetables. So, I learned the basics. So like numbers and how to bargain and directions for the taxi. Like, it's fun. I thought it was really fun. Yeah. And
So you
some
have
teachers,
an adventurous, you're very
yeah,
adventurous then.
yeah, yeah. I love it. Exploring the world. Yeah.
Have you journaled all these experiences? Have you?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I do have a journal, a little bit, and then I've taken so many pictures, right, and for
Yeah.
the memories, and yeah.
So then tell us about your upcoming trip, Thailand. What are you doing to prepare for it? Like what's the process to get ready for this? What happens?
Yeah. Yeah, so to prepare, it's a lot of paperwork to
Oh,
prepare for any country.
okay.
That's it's a lot of paperwork to get a work visa, because you have to get a work visa to live in the country. And so it's just a lot of paperwork
Wow.
going
Wow.
to getting all your like certificates, degrees, transcripts, and
Wow.
then going to the embassy, getting them authenticated, and then going to the Thai embassy and getting them translated, and all this
Oh, wow.
paperwork before, yeah, for any country. That's how it is. A lot of paperwork. But it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah. After everything, yeah.
So where were you at then when you were working during the pandemic? Were you in Mozambique or?
Yes, I was in Mozambique.
Tell us about your experience teaching in Mozambique during
Yeah,
COVID. What was that like?
yeah. Oof. Okay, so
Oh,
yeah, Mozambique is
take a moment.
yeah. It's in East Africa, and it's where we lived, my husband and I. It was very rural, very rural. It's actually, it was, sometimes I think I was lucky to have been there during COVID, because it's very rural, so not a lot of people, and
Oh, good.
everything's spread out. So that made me feel a little bit safe. But yeah, I had a class. I was teaching a class, I think, of 16 kids. It was a combined class, first grade, second grade, third grade.
Oh,
And we were in person, and then suddenly, the school had to shut down,
yeah.
and then did online teaching. And that was, I'm sure you've heard all the teacher stories. That was quite an
Wow.
experience, online teaching,
Definitely.
figuring it out, and just the classwork assigning on an online platform and all was very new to me. And then it's just indoors. We were inside our house all the time, really. Medical care is not that great where I was. So, I was a little worried at the time. But we just tried to keep safe, stayed at home, and there was no vaccines there while I was there. So
Mhm.
it's something I had to deal with. It's something I
Yeah.
had to deal with, just try to keep safe. And yeah, and I was there, I guess, year and a half about, and then I decided to leave. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it was quite an experience.
Wow. So you have a lot of stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so being in these other countries, did you have to adjust to the food also? I mean, there's the food aspect, learning how to cook different things, or what was that like?
Yeah.
Any experience with food or unique food?
That's one of my favorite parts, actually, of visiting other countries, trying the food. I am a
Wow.
vegetarian. That's
Yes,
why
I
I'm
saw. Tell us.
Vegiteacher. Yeah.
Yes.
And so it is hard to find vegetarian food sometimes, when in countries, a lot of them are meat-based dishes,
Yes, I was gonna
like
ask. Yeah, which
the
ones were harder,
traditional
easier? Yeah.
the traditional country dishes. meat dishes, a lot of meat dishes. This one dish that was like spinach, tomatoes, onions all cooked together. And that was the only traditional dish I could try, and I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So besides teaching, obviously, you know, teachers do have another life.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what is your other life when you're done with your school day in whatever country you are? What do you like to do? What are your other life things?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm actually married to an educator also.
Oh,
So we're very lucky to have the same schedule, and we usually try to work at the same school. So we have the same schedule, and yeah, it's we go to work together, we come home from work together, and yeah, and then I just spend time with my husband, and we like to cook. We like to definitely watch a lot of TV, and of course, we like to travel. That's a big part of our lives. With every school break, we plan a trip, although we haven't traveled, obviously, in a year and a half.
yeah,
But hopefully we'll go back to normal soon.
yeah.
Every school break, whenever we have a school break, we go off, even if it's for a weekend.
Oh,
We like to travel around the country that we live in, right? Get to know the country where we live in and the country surrounding it. We take advantage of every break.
so on your list, you have Thailand now. Are there
Yeah.
certain countries that you have a pin on your map that you want to get to? Or is there a certain number that you're like, okay, I got to get to 20 countries? Or
Right.
what are your goals? What are your long-term goals where you want to be?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we hope to stay in Thailand for a while. I think it's a great hub, right, to go to travel around Asia. No, I would love to live on the majority of continents. So I've lived in North America, South America, Africa, and now Asia. So I would love to live on Australia and Europe.
Wow.
So for the future, I'm thinking about that maybe.
Oh my goodness.
Australia and then Europe, Italy, Spain, I would love. Yeah.
Oh, phenomenal. So this is going for a while. Yeah.
Hopefully, until
Yes.
retirement.
When so you'll decide where you land, depends, what you like the most. Will you decide then where you want to retire?
My husband is from Bolivia, and that's where I met him, actually, on my first,
Oh, are you
overseas
teaching?
job.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to Bolivia single, and I met him on the first day at
Oh my
school.
gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Meant to
another
be.
story.
You had to travel.
Yeah, yeah. So I really liked Bolivia. It was a great, just quality of life. And where we lived, Santa Cruz, it's great weather. It's warm, 10 months out of the year.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, it's great weather. It's great quality of life. It's very like a really relaxed lifestyle. The lifestyle isn't too fast.
I love it.
So I think, yeah, we're gonna retire there in
Yeah,
Bolivia.
that's wonderful. Oh my gosh. Well, that's exciting. Yes. So exciting. I mean, just your world is like amazing. All these experiences. I can't even imagine
Oh,
how
thanks.
great this is. And your miles. You must have a lot of miles
Oh yeah.
on your airline.
Right. Yeah. Points. Use those
Yeah.
points, right, for
Yeah.
reward. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Those are really handy. I remember talking to the traveling teachers and
Yes.
they told me
Mhm.
how, they really don't pay for a ticket anymore. They use your points. So
Yeah.
that is awesome. Well, give us your words of wisdom. I'm sure you have like something amazing. Please share with us. What are your words of wisdom?
Yeah. Well, travel is a big part of my life. And I've always I did have this quote that I heard once that I really connected with. Travel is the only thing you buy that makes you richer.
Wow. Love it.
You learn so much about the world, about cultures, about how other people live. And even though we're so far apart, and even though um, we're different. We're really not that different. Like I've noticed like we're more similar than different when I meet people around the world. Like we all care about the same things. And that's what I've learned with traveling.
The students that you've seen, I mean, a kindergartner in the US is really just also a kindergartner in Bolivia is the same. I mean,
Right. Yeah. They're kids, right? Students. They just want to learn. They want to be cared for. They want to be loved. Yeah. They're kids.
yeah. No, that's wonderful. Oh my God. Those were great words. It's been really an honor to speak with you, Carla. And just because, I mean, also what a unique experience for a teacher to literally, you know, share her passion in so many
Yeah.
different countries is just such a gift. And so
Thank
really appreciate you being here with us and sharing your experiences. So thank you so much for being on the program.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. It was great being here and great meeting you.
Well, you too, and safe travels on your next adventure.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye, everyone.